Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my Sunday live stream where we do photo editing, and you can submit your images preferably before the stream starts, and I edit them here live using Olympus Workspace or sometimes Lightroom if it's a camera other than an Olympus camera. And I'm hoping I'm going to try to start using Darkroom as well. That looks like a really great piece of software too. But I've downloaded everyone's images. Let me just finish setting up the screens here, and then we'll get to the chat section and go from there. Hopefully, everyone can see and hear me okay. And the stream looks like it's doing okay. Hopefully, you guys, there's not stuttering and stuff. I was having some problems in the last stream. But let's see. I'm gonna go to. Let me pull up the images. We can get started. There we go. Very good. And okay, Bob's here first. Awesome. Dave Nelson, good to see you. Jonas, John follows. Nature's back. Awesome. Ann Eastbury, hi. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen you here before. So welcome to the live stream. Lauren, Elaine, good to see you. Always good to see you, Elaine. You don't come in enough as often as you used to. And Jack Knack, good to see you back. And Bob is here, awesome. And let's see, back for more, huh? Saw it to be fun. Okay, and Randy, yeah, Randy was in the previous stream. I thought I saw him. Maybe he's out taking pictures. You know, you guys should be out there, right? But okay, so better than before. Okay, so I think we're talking about. So let's go ahead and get to the photos here. See, I think it's this button. There we go. Very good. And we don't need to see that. All right. So first up, we have one here from Scott Mumford. Oh, it's dark over there. What time is it, Soft to be fun, where you are? Because I'm thinking about downsizing my streams or just doing them once or twice a week instead of 3 times. So I need to pick, you know, the most compatible time I can for everyone. So this looks like underwater with some kind of light beams. Let me see. This is a EM1 Mark II with a 12 to 100, 12 millimeter, 17. Oh, it's wow, it's early, but it's dark, huh? Because that's what 1700. That's 5 o'clock. Yeah, it gets dark like at 4:35 now. So I hate that. And then you throw daylight savings on top of that, and I'm all messed up. 12 millimeters, f4, 160, ISO 320, negative 1.7. That's weird. Why would you dial in so much negative? It's really dark. But we'll see what we can do. How is this underwater? I gotta, let me bring up the exposure. Oh, this is an aquarium of some kind because you can see a wall right here. Okay, that makes sense. So we got to bring that up. Oh, my timer. And we need some, let's bring up the shadows with a gradation if we can. And then white balance. Let's try underwater white balance. Let's see what that does. It's okay. And then, yeah, these images are really soft though. You know, shooting through water, through glass, you know, a lot of problems here. But let's do a vertical crop. I think I don't need to see everything here on the right. We can just sort of crop in, maybe even to here. I think that's plenty. And as far as the tone curve, we do need to bring up the shadows some more, just so we can see the fish. So down here, a little bit of a reflection here, it looks like. And then we'll just crank the dehaze all the way up. And some clarity. And then let's pull some of the shadows down. It's a tough picture, but I think that will do. And let's just add additional, well, I don't know about color, maybe some saturation. Okay, let me look at the whole image again. See if there's anything over here. Not really. Although it's interesting, the lighting up here. It's over here. There's this beam. Can't cut it off there. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this composition. All right, so do a before and after. And yeah, this almost, you wouldn't be able to tell it's an aquarium. You can still see some man-made things back here, it looks like, kind of. But this is a little bit more, at least you can see it now. I can hardly see anything on the picture on the left. So that'll be, and compositionally, you know, there's nothing on the right that adds any value to the image, really. Any new information. So that's where I'm going to go. All right. And Lauren says, right eye or left eye when doing a fish portrait, and does the camera select it? I have no idea. We have a little cute baby picture here from Elaine. I bet this is you, Elaine, isn't it? Those really pretty blue eyes there. Let's see. Oh, you like it, Scott? Okay, good. I forgot to even see who this was. Was this your image? Oh, yeah, this was your image, Scott. Okay, good. So a little bit of motion blur. So we have a relatively slow shutter speed. Of course, no exit data with Elaine's images, right? Let's see. What would I do here? It's your niece. She's 20 now. And your eyes are green. I never know with you, Elaine. Your images are so heavily edited sometimes. Your eyes look, you know, I don't know what your real eye colors are. The few pictures I've seen of you. I'm not sure there's much I can do here, Elaine. I'm going to pull the exposure down because it's a JPEG. And maybe a soft filter. And we'll pull this down again. Yeah, this one's not heavily edited. Oh, I lost the blue eyes though. Just a little bit. Maybe pull this down. And let's just do a normal square crop. Of course, now we're losing the hands, so we'll stay 4:3, but just come in maybe this way. I'm going to add a tiny bit of gradation. I really want to see the eyes. Okay. Let's do a quick before and after. So, yeah, just a simple edit, just to remove some of the distractions in the background. um, and focus on the baby here, your niece. I think that's all we need to do. I could kind of take or leave the soft focus part, but it hides some of the grain in the image when I do the soft focus, so that's why I chose that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, we have some dogs playing. Let's see. This reminds me of the days I used to go to the dog park with Ellie all the time. EM1 Mark II, 40 to 150 Pro at 150, f2.8, 2000 ISO. Yep, perfect settings for really a scene like this. Good job dialing the +1 exposure comp. That brings the black dog in so you don't lose the details there. And speaking of dogs, where the heck is Ellie? Anyway. Yeah, excellent settings. I mean, it's too bad you had to crank up the ISO so high, but you didn't have a lot of choice if you're trying to freeze some action here. So excellent job with the settings. I think I'll just warm it up a little bit. And let me dial in a little bit more magenta. And then we'll do a square crop and straighten it. Like that. Yeah, Ellie's chasing the UPS guy. And let's just crop in so we can really see. I mean, I don't want to lose too much of the environment, but maybe about like that. Add some vignetting. I might be a little too heavy. Okay, right there. And let me see. We're at a pretty high ISO. I'm going to add some sharpness and then throw in just a low noise filter to pull off some of the grain in the bokeh. And let's see what we can do with the colors. Well, let me work with the tone curve first. There's a lot of compression here. I don't want to black out the dogs too much, but I do want a little more contrast, like so. Get rid of that pin. Right about there. I'd like the greens to be a little darker. Maybe even more. Problem is when I start messing with color on a high ISO image, it can introduce some banding, or not banding, but blotchiness, even with a raw, but that came out okay. And let me shift the greens to be a little bit more green. Okay. Just tiny touches here and there. That's enough on the tone curve. And what if I put auto gradation? If I can bring out, I'm losing a little bit too much detail on the black dog. So now I can work this tone curve maybe a little bit more. Okay, I think that's it. So, there's a before and after, and I think the image on the right it's really given the image a lot of pop and color to an otherwise kind of flat image, right? I mean, it's a raw image, so it's supposed to be flat, but this is, I think, the direction I would go in. And what really made this image is just the almost perfect settings that I think it's Dragos used for this. You know, by freezing the action with the right shutter speed, dialing in the, you know, minimum ISO he needed to do that, keeping the lens wide open, and then dialing in some exposure comp so that the black dog doesn't get completely blacked out and lose detail. So we were able to retain a lot of details. So that's a really good example of how to do an action photo in terms of settings. Really good job on that. All right, let's go to the next one. And got some reflections. This is from Jose. Okay, I'm not sure. Let me look at the EXIF real quick. There's no EXIF, and it's a JPEG, so we're going to be kind of limited here. Oh, the black spot on the right, Jack? Yeah, I didn't see that. I missed it. Let me pull the... I'm going to pull the exposure down and see if I can recover any of the highlights in here in the water reflection. And then we'll do some gradation to bring the shadows back. And then maybe a little bit brighter. And let me see what a pop art does with the colors, because we got some nice reds and greens. And let's just pull the shadows up a tiny bit, the midtones, I mean. Just a little bit dark. And compositionally, this wide angle landscape kind of crop, it just doesn't work for me, but squaring it off or doing anything else with it would be... I think that's better, because the wide crop, it's not giving you any new information anywhere in the image. So let's just see more detail, right? Rather than trying to get this whole scene in that doesn't add anything, and just focus on the details. So I think, you know, cropping anywhere square in this image should do it. Maybe maybe there's more cloud detail on this side. Let's see. A little bit, but I actually kind of like a little bit more rockiness than seeing clouds. So I think I'll go with this. I like kind of this little bit of a corner going from down here and up. And then we'll just add some sharpness in this way. I'm gonna pull just a little bit more on the blacks. I don't know if I can push these blues a little bit more. It didn't do much. Maybe, you know, it's mainly because it's a JPEG. I'm not getting enough color information in the blues to really push or pull in any direction. So we'll just leave it there. Oh, I didn't even use my timer. Anyway. So there's the before and after. And like I said, the wide crop, landscape crop just doesn't help, I think, this image at all. I think it's important to kind of see the details rather than seeing the same thing over and over again. Uh, and then bringing out the colors with the pop art filter. It's a little bit darker than I think it needs to be, but that's 90% there. Okay, and that was from Jose. Good job, Jose. Nice shot. Let's see what else we got here. Got one here from Simon, and he used the EM1X with a 100 to 400. Oh, so he's finally sending some images in with this new lens. Awesome. We did ISO 800, 164, f12. Wow, why f12? And why ISO 800? This is a little bit... so you focused on the moon. Look at that. There's actually some nice detail in there. But I think I would have shot this closer to f6 or f7. So you're 6.3. Oh, double that MC. Oh, because you got an MC20. That's why you're at f12. All right, my bad. My bad. Okay, Simon, I understand. So you are wide open. So the only thing I would have done is maybe shot at 1/320th of a second and cut the ISO down to 800. I'm sorry, down to 400, or even. But man, when you're at a 600 millimeter equivalent, you might introduce motion blur or shutter shock. This is an area I don't have a ton of experience with, right? But I can extrapolate from the focal length that you may have had to keep the shutter speed up there so you didn't introduce any motion blur or shutter shock, right? You did shoot in silent shutter, which is a good move. And so I don't know. I'll give you a 9 out of 10 on the settings. If I was a little more experienced, I might say it's a 10, or I might say it's a 7. But this is not an area I'm very experienced in, so I'm gonna give you a 9, and then we'll do plus or minus from that on settings. Yeah, you're still figuring out how to get the best out of it. Yeah, I think you did an excellent job with the settings. So you'll have to experiment from here, Simon, what's going to work and what's not work. But I think that's really an excellent start. I don't see how I would have shot that differently, other than maybe trying a slower shutter speed to see if I can still get a steady shot, which is hard to do when you're using a 2x teleconverter and you're zoomed out to 300 millimeters. So you're 600, 1200 equivalent. It's a tough shot. A tough shot. All right, so that's enough jibber jabber. Let's see what we can do with this. It's too bad these trees could not be more in focus with the moon. So the trees now just become kind of a framing type situation rather than part of the image because it's so blurry. So if we just need to frame the moon, we don't really need to see a lot of the tree. So I think something like that to kind of minimize the tree because it is so blurry, and just get it to where it's framing the moon. Yeah, I think that works better. Now let's see if we can bring out a little more detail in the moon. And I might have to pull in a noise filter. Let's just put it on low. Now I'm going to play with the tone curve a little bit, but then I might go back to the sharpening tool. I really want that moon to kind of stand out. Oh. Yeah, there we go. It's getting there. The tree is a little bit too dark now. All right, let's go with that. Now let's warm it up a bit. Oh, what? I don't want to do that. Let me just warm it up a bit. Actually, why don't I try this button? Wow, no kidding. No, I don't like that. I think the moon should be a little bit warmer. Lauren doesn't like my crop. He wants the tree. It's okay, I'm going to stick with this. Although I don't disagree with you, Lauren. I think I just want to show this way of doing it. Yeah, I'm still recovering. Okay, now I'm almost there. God, the details in the moon are so finite. It's hard to get them just right. Instead of doing sharpness this way, I might have to let's do a 2 pixel and a 15. Let's pull in a stronger noise filter. Let's crank up the sharpness from here. All right, I'm out of time. So let's do a before and after. I mean, I do like the vertical on the left. It's still rendering, but I do like the vertical with the tree. I just wish it was in focus, and I don't feel like, I feel like even if I'm looking at this with my naked eye, the tree would be in focus. I'm not sure I agree with Lauren on that as much. But at least now we can see the craters and a little more detail in the moon. I think it looks better this way. It just needs to be a little warmer, but other than that, and then I would pull back some of the reds on this tree. Maybe maybe using the just color. So just pull the reds back a little bit. There. So there. So less reds in the tree. But okay. It's still rendering. It's rendering out some of the noise with the noise filter because there's a little bit of blotchiness. There it goes. It's almost there. There. That's pretty much it. I think that looks really good. All right. Yeah, definitely send some more, Simon. These are awesome. Awesome. Man, that image, man, it's tempting me to get that lens now. All right. Oh, okay, Matt. I'll take a look. Just remind me towards the end. I'll try and remember to download those. All right, so we have here the EM10 Mark II with a kit lens, 3.5, 180, ISO 200. Yep, all good setting. We just need to do a little bit of keystoning and stuff. Wow, look at these clouds. These are interesting. You have like this very thin layer of white clouds here, and then behind it you have some stronger clouds. That's pretty wild. So let's do black and white. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I gotta straighten it some. So let me try and straighten this out. Like so. And then do some keystoning over here. So we need it a little bit of keystoning. Oh, my timer. All right, I'm not going to do too much keystoning. It'll start to look weird. And let's do some gradation. I think the buildings are kind of interesting. And from here, I don't know. I mean, this might be a dumb idea, but let me try it. Oh, yeah, that was bad. We'll just do it manually. We'll do our own adjustments instead of using an art filter. But let me see if I can pull the buildings in a little and bring the clouds down. Right there. And I'm debating on the crop, but I'll think about a crop in a minute. Let me work with the dehaze tool. Yeah, right in there, tiny bit of clarity. And let's white balance it a little bit. It's just a little bit too warm. What if I do warm it up? Let me just exaggerate it. Yeah, let's just go to about 5,000-ish. Add some more magenta. And not that much, about right there. And let me think about a crop here. We stay 4x3 and just balance this because this building sticking out top center, front and center is just a little distracting. And that side's a little bit blown out. Is that straight now or not? It's still not straight. Okay. Not sure. I'm not sure about this crop. I just want to balance this a little bit. So we don't have enough of the building to make the buildings interesting. But I'm trying to get that. I think that'll do. Something like that. It's just the buildings aren't that interesting. Yeah, that's... Whoops, whoops. Oh, out of time. All right, so let's do it. Whoops. There. Let's go with this. Yeah, it's a cool shot. I think all I did was bring up the shadows on the buildings and do some straightening. And now it looks better in that respect. But I feel like I lost some of that, the tones in the sky. I really like those bluish tones. That's because I warmed it up. Let me just put it back to its normal white balance. The original white balance was probably better. Yeah, I think that looks better. So now I got the tones back in the sky. I shouldn't have messed with the white balance, basically. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right, nice shot. Who is that, Jack? Good job, Jack. Yeah, that's an amazing sky, isn't it? You got that view from your bedroom window? Man, lucky you. My goodness. All right, we got one here from Ann Eastbury. A beautiful little mill kind of building. What does that say? Stay alert. Oh, social distancing image. This has got some interesting textures all over. I love all this stonework. And we have what? EM10 Mark II with a 25 prime at f2.8, 1/250 of the yep. All good settings. You only have to be a little bit careful though with continuous AF on EM10. It nailed focus here, but it's not quite as reliable as a single point autofocus with the EM10. The EM5s and the EM1s are fine, but the EM10s I'd be a little bit more careful. But it seems fine here. It seems like you nailed it. Compositionally, let me think about the composition while I'm editing this, but I think I'm going to go either dramatic tone. That's a little bit too harsh, but I'm going to start there. And then let's add a little more sharpening. And let's give it some little more saturation, and then I need to pull the blacks off a little bit if I can. Can I do that with gradation or not? Probably not. I'm going to try. That didn't work too well. We can do it with the tone curve, maybe. Yeah, that's good right there. Then I can adjust things otherwise right there. A little bit of the haze, a little bit of clarity. Needs a little more saturation. And maybe, yeah, maybe it's a bit too dark. We're kind of losing that sort of pleasant scene kind of feel. So I'm just going to do it manually. Full saturation. Yeah, that's a little better. Right there. Okay. Compositionally though, Steve says crop out the right. So yeah, this building's got to go. I agree. So let's stay 4x3 for now. Just come up this way. I like the way this tree on the left side is balancing everything. Yeah, that kind of works. Just a mild straightening. And it just needs to be not warmer. It needs kind of a split tone-ish kind of coloring. Let me go to blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of blue in the shadows right here. Maybe a little bit more in the highlights. And then let's go to the reds. We'll pull some of the, sorry, more reds in the shadows. Just give it a little more warmth. Oh, I might be out of time. I'm not sure. I forgot the timer. Lauren says maybe a 4x6. Maybe. Let's see. That's same as 3x2. Will come in. Yeah. I think that was a good call. Right about there. All right, let's call it right there. So there's a before and after. I think the 4x6 definitely was a good call. And you know, that way I can get my corners down here lined up here and more or less over here. A little gradation to bring this in would have been nice. Let me just check that. Yeah, I already tried. I'd have to do it with the tone curve. Just a little bit out there, but maybe right. I can't get it. Anyway, that's about 90% there, I think. And a little, if we let me just put it all by itself full screen. But we did save all of the detail and the textures, which is what was my favorite part about this image. It's all the brickwork and stonework all together. And then cropping out everything else that didn't matter, really. The only challenging part is when you try to keep all the detail here, it makes everything else super detailed as well. So I'm not crazy about the grass, the way it came out, because saving the detail in the stonework really made the detail in the grass and everything kind of busy. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool. You know, soft focus might... Nah, let's move on. But okay, and thanks for submitting. Awesome, awesome shot. I think, yeah, with this, I would just need to bring the blacks in a little bit more. Something like that. But okay, let's go to the next one. All right, so we have a field of corn stalks, and it says here EM10 Mark II with a kit lens at 42 f5.6. Yep, all looks good. Single frame. Perfect settings. And we got some decent detail. I guess your focus point was right in here. Looks like on this one. Your focus point was right here, dead center. So, you know, I wonder if the clouds have some detail in it. Let me see. Yeah, a little bit we might be able to recover. One other thing I want to try is a diorama. No. It's a little bit too horizontal for that. So let's try dehaze and clarity and pull the exposure back a little bit. Add the gradation back in. I'm just trying to save the sky a little bit. This looks like, oh, this is Phil's image. Let's do a little bit of straightening and start working with the tones a little bit. It needs to be definitely warmer. Just a tad, maybe a tad of magenta. No, no magenta. Are they rolled oats? All right, now compositionally, we're almost there in terms of editing. What we need now is a composition before we can continue editing. Uh, wait. Maybe just a little bit simpler scene. How about a square? Needs a little more breathing room. More straightening. Okay. Add some sharpness. Turn off this noise filter. Uh, let's see the colors. It just needs something here. We need maybe just a tad more blue, or maybe even go black and white, because the colors are just not. I'm not digging the colors, honestly. If I do, I'm gonna crank in vivid. I mean, there's some greens in here that might work, but I don't have any auto color. Uh, yeah, this will work. All right, now let's split tone this the right way. I'm gonna put some red in here, a red filter to bring the sky in maybe. And I'm gonna keep the sky up in the blues and then pull the shadows down. Oops, too many dots. Hold on. Oh, I'm out of time. Crap. All right, let me add a vignette and then call it. Maybe an 8. Okay. Before and after. Okay, we'll let that render out. Hopefully the vignette won't be so strong once it renders. It is strong. Well, all right, I might back off the vignette a little bit if I were to finish this, but I just had to simplify the scene a little bit. Everything on the left there with the buildings and the flags and just, again, no new information, just adding clutter. So I simplified the scene over on the right with this crop. And my goal was to try to retain some cloud detail because there is a little bit of clouds there. So I accomplished that to some extent. And then, of course, the textures and everything in the rolled grass and everything. I think that looks pretty good overall, though. All right. Yeah, sepia might work too, but from here, I think the crop, once the crop is done, you can kind of go with in any direction on the editing. And that was from Phil. Okay, Phil, thanks for sending that. And let's see, what is this? This is a guy. I thought maybe he was taking a leak, but it looks like he's walking his dog who's taking a leak. And he's smiling. That's always good. But man, is he far away? What did we use here? EM5 with a 12 to 40. 168th ISO 200, -3 EV. So yeah, decent settings. All right, Stephen, we'll see you later. Thanks for coming in, as always. We just need some straightening, and we'll probably do a vertical on this. Okay, and then definitely, I'm really feeling a black and white here. Although I do like the red in the trees. Let me look at that a little bit closer first. Are those trees? What is this? What are these red things? Are these trees or... No, this is some artificial thing. Street lamps. Okay, okay, they're lamps. But that's an interesting element. It's just they're so thin. I don't know if I can save those. And I like the greens. Man, there's actually some interesting colors here. Let me try pop art. Oh my God, Lauren, you are killing me with the spot remove. Remove the dog? No, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm gonna go with pop art. And if I can, I cannot. I was trying, I wanted to increase the greens a little bit. I might need to be a little bit tighter crop too. Like that. Yeah, Jack, I can't do any selective color on this, unfortunately. My adjust color bar is gone with the EM10. I'd have to convert it to TIFF and then come back. It's a little bit unnecessary. I think we can just work with this. I really like the greens in here. I wish I could, I don't know if I can crank those up a little bit. Greens are mostly in the shadows, but, oh, that's the red channel. Yeah, that works. And then we'll pull this down. I like that slight tint. And then we'll push the reds. They're more in the middle. And we'll pull them back. Right there. Oh, why does it just look so crooked every time I look at it? It's almost like, what lens is this? This is a 12 to 40 Pro, so I shouldn't be getting this weird. These are not distorted. These are just slightly bent looking. All right, let's work with the overall tones here. I need the whites to be whiter. And just pull back on the midtones a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna call it right there. So there we go. I really like the contrast of the reds and greens, so I did mess with the tone curves on the reds and green channels to kind of bring those out a little more. And you know, fortunately, the person and the dog are far enough away in the frame that it didn't affect them. If they were much closer in the frame where you could see his face and the dog, I wouldn't be able to do that with the red and green channel because it would, you know, if I punch in, you can see it really made this guy look beet red and his dog a little bit too red. So, but being that far away in the frame, it's okay. I can do that. And I think the green and the red here really shine against the white snow. All right. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Good job, Joni. The snow looks red a little bit. Yeah. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. You're right. Side by side. I'd have to pull this back a little bit down here. There. There you go, Lauren. Now I fixed the red in the snow. Voila. All right. Um, all right, we have a, looks like a ice sculpture maybe, yeah. So from Image Writer, EM10 Mark II with a kit lens, 5.6, yep, all looks good. All right, this needs to be brighter and cooler, maybe black and white, but I like this little blue tint down here. So I think even if I put a pop art filter, um, we can really push the blues without jacking up the entire image. And let's go a little bit straighter. And oh, you like it now, DeBorkin? I fixed the red. Yeah, definitely fixing the red. I didn't see it at first, but when somebody mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah. Okay, yeah, the snow is red. All right, so let's see. Let's make the whites whiter on this. Oops, that's the red channel. Let's do this. And then just pull back midtones back. Let's add a vignette. I don't know, maybe a white vignette. Let's try that. I kind of like that, actually. Maybe a little more. Yeah. And now I can pull the blues in a little darker. Right there. Okay, let's add some clarity. And some sharpness. And maybe make it a little bit cooler. Oof. Maybe not. Let me work with the blue channel just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna call it there. So yeah, I just wanted to bring the blue out for some reason. And then a white vignette just to make it a little bit lighter, and then make the whites really white. And it's okay if they're blown out a little bit on this. And the clarity, just so you can see a little more detail of the etchings. And I think we're done. Okay. Good edit, or good image there, Image Writer. And oh, this is interesting, John. Some kind of hats at a market here. And good detail. 45 pounds. Are you kidding me? Or is that 15? No, I think that's 45. No freaking way am I paying $45 for a hat. Let's see what we used here. A G5 at 32 millimeters. F5 1/60th. Okay. Decent settings. Yeah, new hat for Randy. I like the cats here. These hats, the little cat bags. There's a dude standing there. Dang it, I'm not sure what to do with this. What does this sign say? Do not take pictures with hats, please. Oh, all right. Other than Goodwill, hats cost $45. No freaking way. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I paid $10 or $15 for my baseball caps. I paid $18 for my robtrek cap, but these hats, come on. All right, let me concentrate. I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to try square crop. I can't even edit this without knowing how I'm going to compose it. So this is kind of a little bit opposite, where I did the editing first and then composed it. This one I have to get the composition to something. You would play that gladly. Wow. Wow. All right. Next time I go out to the store, I'm going to look at some hats and see what they cost. I just can't believe it. I think the interesting thing in this picture actually is just that sign and the cat bags. So let me do a 4x3 vertical tight. Right. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. It's a little bit off center, but that's okay. I'm going to go with this. Let me sharpen it. Oh, this is a JPEG. All right. So we're not going to do any filters. Let's bring out some gradation. And now we can pull, oops, I did it again. I want to pull all of the RGB in and out. Okay, a little bit of clarity. And just a little bit more saturation. I think I'm done. Honestly, I don't know what to do with this image. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end it. So, you know, the sign where it says "Do not take pictures with hats." That's the most memorable thing to me about this image. But I also like the little cat bags on the bottom left. So it's almost like I'm trying to keep too much information, but it's cropped in enough you can really almost see the price of these hats, which also shocked me. And then the processing just to kind of accentuate the colors and contrast. So not my favorite edit today, but definitely I think it's a little better. The one on the left just has too much non-valuable information, you know? And, you know, we don't need to see more brick. I don't need to see the guy in the store. It's all very, you know, everything else in the image is not that interesting. All right. I mean, if it were me, I'd have probably cropped in a lot tighter on individual elements rather than trying to capture it all at once. But, oh, 15 euros. All right, 15 euros, not 45. Thank you, John. That's more reasonable. I would pay 15 euros for one of these hats, but not 45. Okay. I mean, think about it. If these were 45 euros a pop, you think they would just leave them outside on the corner like that? I doubt it. At $15 a pop, I might, as a business owner, take a chance that somebody would steal one. But at 45 euros a pop, I'd be like, I'd have a freaking security guard there with a shotgun watching them, you know? And saying, you know, don't take any pictures. But anyway, let's move on here. Want to hear from nature. All right. Let's see how we did on the detail. Not bad. A little bit soft. What did we use? 300 millimeter f4 with a 14 millimeter. I'm sorry, with a 1.4 teleconverter, f5.6, ISO 1600. 1/400th of a second. That's, I think, the problem. the shutter speed's a little bit too slow. ISO 1600, and it's a little bit overexposed. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover that in workspace, but let me try. Nope, they're gone. This is all completely blown out. But we'll stick with the -2 EV. I think this would have been a better way to go, is shot it darker so you can get a faster shutter speed. And then I think you would have had a little bit sharper image. So speaking of sharpness, let's just add some in. Let's turn this off. And I'm gonna just do a silhouette type image. And just add a little bit in the midtones. Right about there. And add some warmth. Maybe not that much. Maybe 7,000. Okay, let me crop this. So I don't want all these leaves. I can't get in tight enough, so let me try square. Come this way. And then a vignette will get rid of, should get rid of this in the corners. Okay. You were struggling with very low light. Yeah. I know, it's tough. It's a tough shot. I would have definitely underexposed this shot, though, to get a faster shutter speed, I think. And then bring up, because this bird is so white, then you can bring that up pretty easily without much noise. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. You know, I can always tell, like, when my dog barks, she has different kinds of barks, right? So when I heard her barking that time, I had to go check, and my mom came over. She brought me soup. Anyway, If you guys have been on my channel a long time, you know I'm not a big fan of soup. And she just continues to bring me soup. I told her I don't like soup. Why? Anyway. um, let me go back. I think I had about 2 minutes left on this image, right? All right. So let me try and bring in some of the bird back. It's still a little bit too dark. I need to bring it in without blowing the highlights. Right? It's very sensitive here. Maybe about like that. Okay, now let's work with the color. That might be too much color, but let me see where that takes us. Let me reset this. I'm not getting the tone curve that I want. All right, there we go. Where's my clarity? A little bit of warmth, and we'll adjust the colors a little bit. I do want to just be a little bit warmer. And I'm going to go crazy on the vignette as much as I can go there. Definitely warmer. That's just a hair too much. Okay, good. Now let me go to the green channel and just pull the greens back a little bit. Somewhere in the image, I need to pull the greens back just a little. All right, I'm going to leave it there because I'm a little bit over time. Let's see, before and after. So I think I'm about 90% there again, as usual. But yeah, mainly my goal was to get rid of all the distractions in the background and bring in just what's going on with the bird. And I wanted to silhouette the water too, like make it as dark as possible. But then I liked the green reflections in it, but the green was a little bit weird. So the color needs a little bit more work, but I think exposure and editing wise, we're about 90% there. So there we have it. All right. Oh, thanks, nature. I appreciate that. But I would definitely just, with a white bird like that, you can definitely underexpose like 1.5, maybe 2 stops on a shot like that. Okay. Oh, thank you, John. So we got some trees. Straighten this out. And let's find a vertical that works. Uh, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just Just kind of cropping out loud here. Yeah. And I like the scene just a, whoops. I don't know if I need sky at all. I'm just going to experiment a little with the crop. Okay. Just going to do something way different here. Okay. I like that. And let's go just a tad warmer. Maybe cooler. And I'm going to pull the saturation off a tiny bit. All the way. Let's see what that looks like. That's going to be crap. So we're not doing that. I'm doing something wrong in the tone curve. I don't know if this is working, but I'm already 3.5 minutes into this idea. I need to jack up the green a little bit. Maybe just a little bit there. It's just too strong. And then a little brighter. Oh, out of time. All right. So we'll let that render for a second, but I think the image on the left, you know, with the treetops being in the sky and then the tree trunks being in the foreground, there's just too much. I just don't like the tops being cut off that way. So I decided to focus on the base of the trees, the trunks, and just go with the, just sort of that juxtaposition of these bare white trunks coming out of the ground. I almost went with a monochrome on this image, but the greens were really nice. They just needed a little tinting of some kind. Some more reds in here would be nice. I wonder if I can pull that out. Let me try that. Where's my reds? Let me see if I can just pull in. These are up here. No, not really. I can't really get the reds in there. But anyway, I think that's kind of the direction I'd rather go. So now we're focused on, I think, what's the most interesting part, are the trunks coming out of the grass. All right, let's yeah, except in my pocket, right? Let's go to the next one. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot who this was. This was from Diang Traveler. Nice, really nice image, but the trees being cut off in the sky was my problem with it personally. All right, let's see. This looks familiar. From Peter Oddie. I feel like I've seen this house before, but maybe not. And we got some atmospheric conditions going on too, which are nice. And we have used the EM10 Mark II with a kit, 14, yep. All good settings. Spot metering, so he must have metered here on the house because that's pretty mid-gray. And these leaves fall, oh, they're just brown. If it was fall, these would be really beautiful, these leaves down here. So I'm going to bring up the tree and the gradation and see if there's anything to save here or reason to save it. Maybe. Let's go with that. And bring the exposure up even more. See, these are the reds. I didn't mean to do that, but it's okay. And some greens. This your house, Lauren? Let's get some blues in the highlights up there and pull them down a little bit here. Okay. And then let's deal with the tone curve. Doesn't need much. I just need a little more contrast. Okay, let's frame this somehow. I'm gonna go again super wide, but whoops. Go super wide here. Let me see if that makes sense. Not bad. Not bad, just a little bit tighter. And we're good. And I want to get some more detail. So let's turn off this filter. Let's crank in the sharpening. And let's get a little more contrast in here somehow without jacking up the fog. Maybe just like that. All right. And bring some of the fog back in if I can. Just in the highlights. Okay. And then my reds are a little bit off. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna call it there. So there's the before and after. Yeah, too much tree on the left is way too heavy. So I just balanced it. The tree is still very heavy on the left side, but there's so much on the right to balance that out, I think. And I think that looks pretty good. And I didn't want to lose that hazy feeling. So I think full screen, this looks a lot better. Still plenty of detail, still plenty of haze, and a beautiful house. Looks like it's still being worked on or landscaped. somehow, but nice shot there, Peter. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Oh, I've done that one. I don't know why that's still there. All right, we have, how many do I, oh, I got so many here. All right, I need to work faster. Wow, this is Lauren's. Already pretty, pretty well saturated. I think a wider crop is all it needs. Like this, something like that. And then some gradation. Just a little bit more. And I wish the yellows were a bit stronger. Let's try that, and we'll just pull the reds back a tiny bit. Be a little bit more, just to get some definition. Now that didn't work, so just a -1. Maybe this. Yeah, no, this is fine where it is. And I think that's it. Nice wide crop. So I got this corner leading all the way into the frame up to these people. Maybe, nah. It's just a little bit busy here. I'm thinking somehow if I can soften that a little bit, maybe reduce the contrast a little bit, just a tad this way. All right, so I'm sorry, I didn't check the EXIF here. So it's a Pen PL8 with the 12 to 32. Awesome combination there. 160th, and great settings as always. You could have probably gone ISO 200 on this and get away with 1/80th of a second, but close enough. And let's just do a quick before and after. So I don't know, it's just I think a wide crop just looks a little better, and I just had to soften it. The colors were so strong. I didn't want to soften it using a soft focus filter. That wouldn't look right with a train. But I had to soften the leaves somehow. And I think that works right there. Okay. Let's see what else we got. This is Pinecrest Lake from Randy Sherrar. It's a pano, so it got to be a JPEG. Did we save any EXIF? Yeah, an EM10 Mark III. So let me just open this up here. Are these people? Wow, look at that. Holy crap. It's over here. More people. Look at these giant trees. I mean, these trees got to be huge. Next to these people, these are huge stumps. Oh my God. The pano's a little bit warped. It looks like there's some distortion. But there's not much here to edit other than cropping in, but I don't want to crop in. Maybe just add a little more saturation and some gradation and some dehaze. A little bit more here, just to bring out the foreground a little bit, these trees. And just a little dehaze, maybe a little more. And then we'll warm it up a tad. Maybe a tad more. There's no point to save the highlights because it's a JPEG. But let's see if we can. We have anti-distortion controls here. You know, Jack, honestly, a vertical crop would work because there's so much detail. I mean, this picture is 7,000 by 1,700. So, and it's only 14 megapixels, actually. It's not that much. I thought it'd be more. Yeah, I can push the shadows a little more, Lauren, I think. Just do that with the tone curve. Whoops. Let's do it this way. Let me fix the reds. I don't want it to be that red. Just a little bit. Might need a little more green in the shadows too. And it says Pinecrest Lake, DeMorkin. That's all I have in the description is Pinecrest Lake. I think that's it. So let's do a before and after. You know, not that you can really see any differences here. But I did brighten up the shadows, brought some of the greens and reds in a little stronger. But the highlights are kind of blown, but because of the JPEG, nothing I can do about that. So, oh, there you go. Pinecrest Lake in California. But yeah, this is really an amazing, amazing place. I mean, these tree stumps, look at the size of this stump here and the size of the stumps everywhere. Gosh, there's a lot of trees, but I think this looks pretty good like this. I'd have rather worked with the raw images individually than stitch them together. And but yeah, okay. That's cool. Oops. I accidentally hit the help key. Hold on. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see. Go to the next one here. This one's from Bob. Oh, we have a snow shot here with the cell phone, a Pixel 3a, with whatever settings it decided. ISO 61. And I assume this is a JPEG, but it's got a weird file extension name. We need to straighten just a little bit, maybe. And let's go with a wide crop. Let's just do 16 by 9. Right in here. And let me try dramatic tone. Crap. The snow is, just do it manually. Let's go into the red channel. Roz, we'd be here for days. I know, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I just had that interruption. Right there. Add some dehaze. A little bit of clarity. Form it up. Just a tad. Pull back a little bit. And then let's work on the greens and reds a little bit. So the greens are all in the middle. And so are the reds pretty much. And then let's tint the highlights a little bit blue. Like so, and pull that back. All right. Yeah, I did some dehaze. I could do more, but I don't see how that's going to help much. Just, it's not bad. It's a little bit too dark, though. And I guess crop-wise, I don't know. This tree is a little bit heavy on that side, but the building kind of anchors the whole picture. I think I did sharpness too, Lauren. Oh, I didn't. Let me add some sharpness in. I don't think sepia would work. Let me try gentle sepia just since I got a minute left here. Oh, I like that. Yeah, all right. All right, Lauren, finally a sepia that works. I just have to brighten it up a little bit. Make it a little softer, add some vignette, and then we'll call it. The UFOs, they're H2O, not UFO. Frozen H2O, crystallized H2O. H2O. Okay, so I think that works. So we just made it very, very vintage, right? Now this picture looks like it had been taken 100 years ago. I think that looks good. I mean, I was trying to make the colors work, but and we were getting there, but sepia just looks so good. I really like that. All right, let's move on to the next one. And oh, we got a rock, and a mountain, and a fence. This is from Roberto Carlos Garcia. Using EM10 Mark II, 17mm f1.8. Yep, all good settings. +1 on EV, that's a little weird, but I can see why, because this is so dark here. All right. Compositionally, this rock is just way too much of the frame. The fence is maybe doable. We need to straighten it quite a bit, though. Let's try a square crop. Even this, I'm not sure is a good idea. But we'll go with that. And let's do some gradation. And then let's pull things back in to get some contrast. Let me dehaze it first. Maybe that'll be enough. Okay, John, we'll see you later. I know this is turning into a long, long day for edits and streaming. That interruption I had in the last stream was just kind of jacked up everything. The colors are very muted here. I need to crop a little bit, tilt a little more. I'm just going to check out a black and white real quick. Oh, well, no wonder it's muted. He shot with a muted profile. But that's not helping much anyway. Let's see what monochrome looks like. I don't like it. Let's try vivid. Okay, that helps. 16 by 9, maybe. I would have to get rid of all this foreground, which is not a bad idea. Let's see. That rock is useless. This is a little better. It's just this left side's a little bit heavy. Maybe pull in a, stop it. Let's pull in a little bit off the left. Okay. Let's go a little warmer. A lot more saturation. We need a little bit more red in the image. So let's see this fence. So let's try just a touch here. We'll keep the greens green. I don't know. I'm still not happy with this, but I'm kind of out of ideas here. Just maybe a little vignette and I'm going to call it right there. Oops. Soft to be fun says, Force Guard advised to set to muted and setting up the M1. Yeah, it's all personal preference, really. I don't think muted works on this scene personally, but I think this is my final edit here. So yeah, that big rock in the front is just not adding anything to the image. It doesn't really, you know, when you have a foreground, usually you add a foreground image for scale and depth, right? But this rock is not doing either one. It's not giving you a good sense of scale of the mountains. The trees are kind of doing that already. And it's just not adding any visual interest to the image. It's just making it very front heavy. So the fence gives us a nice boundary or framing. So it works more like a framing than it does anything else. I think even a wider crop would work here with less grass in the front. And then bringing up the shadows of the trees again to help emphasize that scale. And then it just needed to be warmed up quite a bit with a little more reds. Okay, but I think that that works. So we just did that one. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, a little bit lighter on the greens, maybe. I agree, Lauren or Demorkin. Just a hair would have worked on that last image. This one is nice as is. It's a good shot of the car. Let me look at your exif though. I feel like if you took a little wider frame, EM1 with a 12 to 40 at 32 millimeters, f2.8, 160. Yeah, so settings are fine. I would have just done a little bit wider so I could get more of the environment. Because, you know, it's kind of weird when this plane's cut off and this plane's cut off and this tent. And then you got the car here in full, you know, in full, the full car. So, you know, it's always nice to go front and center with the subject when it fills the frame. But then when everything else in the frame is cut off like this, it just kind of looks a little odd. So I think, but editing wise, all this image needs really, it's already exposed really well. It's just a little bit of contrast. like so. And maybe tiny bit of warmth, just a little bit more like that. Let's see if there's anything left in the sky. It's cloudy. So let's pull this down, and then we'll push the shadows. Let's try gradation first. Okay. So now we can see some of the details in the sky. We'll add some dehaze, tiny bit of clarity, add some sharpening, and then we'll push the shadows a little bit. Right there. Some saturation, slight tilt. A little bit of vignette. Oh, Jerry, you know, that advice is really for JPEGs, not so much for raw images. Shooting in muted color profile, it's more for JPEGs. It doesn't affect the dynamic range of a raw image at all. So if you're shooting JPEGs, yeah, you can certainly get a little more flexibility shooting muted. But okay, let's call it there. That's all I need to do here, because it's already cropped in really tight. So all I had to do is just bring in some contrast and saturation. That's all I can do here. And I saved some of the detail in the sky, but that's about it. But yeah, definitely I would have took a little wider shot and then tried to compose the elements in the environment together with the car. That's the only difference I would do there. All right, this looks like something I have to do in from Dave's a TIFF. Yeah, I have to do that in Lightroom. And this one here, we have what, some gnarly tree from John Follows. And this is the M1X 12 to 45 Pro at 37 f5. Did ISO bracketing again, but we're at ISO what, 160 here, so we're fine. It's a vertical shot with this house. I get that. Focus point was on this tree, obviously. Not sure. This composition, I don't think the trees are just way too they're just way too big in the frame, because the house being on a hill like that is really interesting, and then the trees individually are very interesting, but together I don't think this composition works really. And it's framed in a way that I don't think I can cut that house out and just focus on the trees, because I don't need that house. Yeah, there's just no way to get that house not in the frame either. Mm. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. And let me just pull the colors in. I mean, I'm not gonna go with this, but I just want to see where they're at. Okay. Bring in the shadows. Let's crank up sharpness here. A tiny bit of clarity. I'm debating. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do soft focus. And then let's really pull this down, this up. Okay, and this white balance is just not quite right. I don't know. Let me try something like this. Oh, that's a little better, but it's too cold. Hey, Jose. Okay, good. So I did pretty close to what you did, right? Good. Let's get some more saturation. I just need to do something. I got 10 seconds. I need to do something about this color. Let me go to the greens. All right, that's a little better. And the reds need to be. Oh, I jacked it up. All right, I'm out of time, but all right, let's see how that came out. Okay, so yeah, the framing definitely helps, I think. I jacked up the colors, but I think I like the colors in the original image better than what I did here. I jacked it up with the red curve here, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, now I like my colors. So I need to do a little more straightening, and that's it, right? Something like that. All right, let's go to Lightroom. That needs to render a little more. It's not quite done yet, but that's my final edit. I think that came out all right. Okay. Pull up Lightroom. Oh. And me. I don't know why you're Lauren, your picture. Your picture I was trying to, let me see if I can delete it. Because you did this one last, it just won't recycle. It's weird. I don't know why I can't get rid of it. But let's go ahead and synchronize. Oh, a lot of viewer edits, but what I'm going to check for is to see if there's any images that I haven't edited yet because they're not an Olympus camera. Let me close that. No, I didn't see a man in the tree trunk. Hold on, why is this all freezing up now? We'll just ignore workspace. All right. So let me make these red. We'll go back here. No color. All right, so yeah, I need to do this one. I've done all of these. There's this one. This one. Wow, there's quite a few here. And I've done those. I think I did this one. Yeah. So let's just do these. And this was a Canon 20D f9 ISO 100 from Dave Nelson. Wow, this is nice. And this is a RAW? Oh, it's a TIFF, so I don't know. It may have been edited already some. But I think we don't need to do much. I'd like to get a little bit more brightness in here. Let me just click auto. A little bit more in the shadows. And then pull a little bit off the color this way. And then add it back in this way. And this barn, I guess it's a brown barn. It feels like I'm so used to seeing red barns. This is good. Then a slight crop, maybe. I think it's already 16 by 9. No, we can do 16 by 9. And just come in this side and balance out the left and right tree. And let's pull the highlights in a little more. And bring up the brightness. A little bit more contrast there. And let's just soften it up a little bit. Like so. Let's adjust it. Okay. And a mild vignette. Like so. And let's just warm it up a tad. Like that. Yeah. Come back. Okay, I think I'm done. So create virtual copy. Reset this, compare. All right, so yeah, basically I just cropped in a little tighter. I don't like these spaces on the left, these kind of gaps, so I just cropped it in and balanced it, and then softened the image a little bit, right? So let's go. Where is it? This is my edit here. So that's my edit there. I think that's a nice, softer, kind of warmer image to look at than the original, this one, right? Okay, So let's go to the next one. That was an easy one. Let's see, we have some trash of a Coke can and some leaves. This was from a Sony from Stephen Page. 858, 50 millimeters. Yep, pretty solid. I would, I don't know what to do here. Let me just compositionally, I don't see any reason not to do just a square. Maybe come up this way. And just put the can more in the front. Just adjust the saturation a little bit this way. Because the reds are a little strong. So we'll push the other colors, warm it up. Like so. And the Morgan says 4x5 to keep more of the top in. Let me look at that. 4x5 here. Sure, why not? That's as good a crop as any. I like that a little better. I agree, DeMorgan. That looks nicer. Let's just add a little vignette and we'll call it. Oops. This didn't need much editing either. So create a virtual copy, reset it, and compare. So there's the before and after. Yeah, I think a vertical crop works better. That brings the can a little bit more front to the front of the image. And doing that 4x5 crop was a good call. It really pushes the can even further into the front of the image. So I think that works. Okay, so that was from Stephen Page. This is a image on a G81, ISO 800 1.7. Yep, good settings. From Dawood. Okay, Dawood. So this must be some decorations you have for your house. I don't think I need to do much here either. Maybe just click auto and see where we're at. This is on some kind of credenza. I wonder if I can focus in on just something a little bit less credenza and more just what's going on here. Maybe. Yeah, maybe just this part of the scene. And then straighten it a tiny bit. Like so. Oh, it says no, cold. I don't know what you mean by cold. So let's just balance this a little bit, add some vignette. Thinking some contrast somehow. Let's make it brighter. It's softer this way. There. Tiny houses are a big thing in California, but those are a bit too tight. All right, let me look at the crop again. Let me see that. I like the trees over here too, but then we get the curtains in the frame, which I don't want. And then this is, yeah, this doesn't have, there's one fallen down fixture there. So I think the original crop I had right here is going to work. It's a little bit tight, but I think that's where I'm going to go. So let's create a virtual copy. All right, so there's the original on the right and the edit on the left. I mean, I hate that I had to chop off half the scene or more, because really, you know, when you set something up, you want to see everything. Yeah, a little more breathing room on the right. That's true. A slightly wider crop, but my problem is if I go a little bit wider, I'm going to catch some of the I don't know. I can come in. And maybe, yeah, that's maybe a little better. You think the other side, well, my problem with the other side is, okay, I'll show you. We have this one fixture falling down. We have the curtains back here. I do like the trees and everything here and the reindeer in the background. But I couldn't frame this side too much better. I mean, this is okay, but then the church is facing away from the rest of the scene. So yeah, a different angle on this shot would have been better. Something like that is not bad. But okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, last one. Okay, Lauren, we'll see you later. I know, man, this couple hour stream for editing, this is rough. I have to go really work faster, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna first straighten this out. I love these vintage diners. Let me see if this, that didn't do jack. I need to get the just a little bit straighter. This image is tight. We didn't get enough space on the right and left. And this is from, I'm sorry, this is an XE2, so Fujifilm 18 to 55 from Steve H. Okay. I know, how can Lauren miss the viewer edits? Because he's been here probably since 10 a.m. like me, right? Sometimes you got to call it. Anyway, I don't like how tight it is on the right and left. So I'm wondering if maybe just abandoning the right and left and going with this, and then we can straighten this out a little more. And let me see, as far as editing, kind of like the color, but then yeah, the color really helps the vintage feel to it. Let me just make sure I got this centered a little bit better. Okay. And If I can mitigate some of that color in the background. I think this is already a 4x6. So maybe 16 by 9. There we go. A little more shadow detail. And I don't know if this makes any sense. Brighten the windows up. Then pull the exposure down just to give it a little bit of a glow. Oh, I missed a spot. I missed the doors. Let me no, I don't like that. Let me do a new brush. Not quite, oops. Not quite so much, not quite so much brightness. Maybe just a little less in here. And right there. Let's just do everything in here. Nah, yeah, just a light glow. Oh, I'm out of time, dang it. All right, let me just do a couple of quick adjustments and then we'll call it. I'm just gonna add a little more vignette just to kind of, just to give that night effect, and then cool it off a little bit more. And push the shadows. All right, sorry about that. Not a great job, but let's see how that looks. Create a copy, set, and compare. It's okay. I would need to spend a lot more time on it to get the effect. Like I'd like this to be a little bit lit up, just at the top here for that neon kind of look, and let me just do that. I can't help myself. So this would be a little brighter, super contrasty, like this. More texture and clarity and dehaze. And then just do this. Whoops, let me draw a straighter line. And then not so warm, maybe a little bit cooler with some magentas. All right, anyway, I'm getting carried away. All right, let's look at oh, the free parking has some neon in it too. So a little bit there. Something like that. Okay, let's look at the viewer edits. But you could light paint the heck out of that and make it a lot more interesting, right? Let's see. Let's go to viewer edits and just a quick look at the original. Oh, Matt was saying he downloaded one. So let me download that. I see it now. Download. Wait. Shared. My bad. Wow, there's a lot that came in after the fact. So let me just do the viewer edit ones. Download to viewer edits. There we go. Save. Download. I'm just going to do the viewer edits. All the new images that came out, I'm going to have to edit on Thursday. It's just way too late for me now. Okay, let me resync the viewer edit page. Synchronize. Okay, so I can take this star off and this off and go to viewer edits and all right, so quick look at the original. It's just a rainstorm, right? This is Shenandoah Mountains, and I just happened to be there when it was raining far off in the distance, so it's kind of interesting shot. I didn't know what to do with it really editing wise other than punch up the colors and things, so I just said, well, let's see what you guys do with it, right? So let's see what you guys did. Matt says, there is my orb still somewhere there. I've sent it during the stream. I will look. I'm sorry, I did promise I would do yours. There it is. All right, download. Okay, after I go through the viewer edits, I'll edit yours. But I'm kind of already started on that. But I'll do yours after the viewer edits if you want to stick around. So let's see what you guys did. Oh, okay. Let me get rid of this sidebar. So we just kind of painted in some green in the front and did black and white. We did this one. Scott. Okay, Scott. This is a little rough painting. Your little brush of painting this color in is a little rough. But okay, let's see what else we got here. Bob. Okay, Bob. Good black and white. It's just weird how the contrast here is so strong right on this one cloud. And over here. That needs to be mitigated somehow. Then I think this edit will work overall. And DeMorgan said he did not send one in today. And this one, yeah, this is a clean edit. Nice and just brightened everything up basically. And it's very pastel-y and really good job with the details. You know, bringing the details in. I'm going to bet this is Walter. It really feels like, yeah, the highlights were blown. Yeah, I know. I know, they were gone. But I'm going to guess this is Walter because of the, just, you know, Walter doesn't like to crush blacks and he's really good with sharpening. Oh, Dragos, good job. Well, Drago, okay, Dragos. But I think you use the same software as Walter. No, that's somebody else. All right, good job, Dragos. I like this pastel-y sharpness, though. This is a good edit. And this from Joni. Yeah, dealing with the blown highlights and then focusing on the clouds and a nice wide 16 by 7 crop. I guess this is, yeah, this works. But the highlights, yeah, the highlights are a little harsh. Oh, excuse me. And this is Marcel. Okay, or Matt. I'm sorry, Matt. This is Matt's edit. This is very close to what I did with my edit. I kept it kind of dark, but then brought the colors in. So this is pretty close. Man, I took this with my 12 to 40 Pro lens. Missed that lens. Anyway. Oh, I like this edit too, Walter. Well, this is from Walter. Okay, Walter. I really like what you did with the clouds. The clouds really have some good definition and tones. Oh, okay, Jose. You can send them in later. Yeah, this is good edit, Walter. Very good. And yeah, excellent monochrome from Walter. Really, really good job with the clouds. Yep. And this one is wow, this is similar to one we've seen. The white balance is a little bit too green in the front, but I guess that's so you could save the back a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Who did this one? This is from Marty. Okay, Marty, I haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing? Yeah, I like this set. It's just the color, this greenish blue tint to it is throwing me off. But good job with the clouds and everything. And yeah, this is very dramatic, right? This is a nice edit too. This is from Image Writer. Okay, very nice. And there's still a little bit of color left in the clouds, right? And this one, wow, so this one is just a very muted kind of color. And the color choice here with the greens is interesting. Did this one, John Follows. Okay, John. Interesting edit. Yeah, Walter's very purist, that's for sure. Okay, I like this one too. And this one, wow, this is super wide. And it's now it's a Dutch picture instead of, that's weird. Who did this one? Jacob did this. Okay. All right, Jacob, I guess it's okay. It's weird. This is weird. It's a nice wide crop, but it's weird. And it's still a little bit too cool. I'd have liked it a little warmer. All right, I bet this is Dawood. There's like two of you that are cropping into like just the smallest part of the image. Oh, Jack. Okay, Jack. I didn't see that coming. You like this cloud in the blown highlights, right? Wow, this is good too with the kind of purplish though. This looks very purple here. And then but you can see where it's kind of raining everywhere. Where the most downpour. I've never seen anything like this really. Not since I was a little kid where it just poured down in one spot. The way it is in this scene. But anyway, let's see who did this one. Kilowin. Okay, Kilowin. Interesting. A little bit of purple. All right, this got to be Dave Nelson, right? With the flaming sky, as it says up in the top corner. Wow. Okay, let's see. Oh, Stephen Page. Oh my goodness. I'm way off. Um, Interesting. But you did save a lot of the details in the clouds. Just a little bit too dramatic for me, but still, it's an interesting edit. Okay, this is cool. This is, again, limiting the color palette down to just kind of greens and gray and not much else. A little bit of almost banding, but not quite. But still, it's interesting. Marcel. Okay, Marcel. Interesting edit. Okay. The coffee wore off. Let's go to the next. This got to be Marcel too. Kind of the same thing. Very muted greens and grays. Purple rain. Wow, the chat section's way behind today. It's about almost a minute behind what I'm going through. All right. Yeah, this got to be Marcel again, right? Yeah. I thought Marcel was the one that was adding like artificial light and stuff into the images, right? I haven't seen that today, but let's see what's next. Yeah. I like this crop. I like this crop, but there's no buts. I like this crop. I like this. Lots of clouds. Good detail. It's a little dark, but I like it overall. This might be my favorite edit so far. Who did this one? Garrett. Okay, Garrett. My personal favorite. Doesn't mean it's any better than any other. It's just one that I like. I like this crop. You got rid of all that ugly grass and brush in the front, right? And just focused on the most interesting or most beautiful part of the image. That's kind of what I like about it. And this one. This one is almost like you added some grain, excuse me, to it. Because it looks a little grainy. But other than that, yeah, brought the shadows up and everything. All right, Simon. Yeah, I don't know why there's grain in here unless you added it. Or you push the shadows too much. But yeah, it's a good crop. It focuses right in on the rainstorm, right? And you can see just a little bit more what's going on. And this one, oh, I like this. Very muted greens and yellows. And it's a nice wide crop. This is really quite beautiful. The colors are really nice. Who did this one? Serge. Okay, Serge, good job. I really like the colors here. It's similar to another one, but it's definitely, I think, it's just more muted. All right, now I know this is Dave. Come on. If this is not Dave Nelson, I don't know. This has got to be Dave. That's cruel. Look at this giant explosion. Yep, I knew it. All right, Dave. Pretty awesome otherwise, though. You basically just blew up the Shenandoah Valley. All right. Let's see. Shaz, how are you? This one here. Wow. This is like over sharpened or something. I'm not getting what's going on exactly, but the lines are pretty strong here. Let's see what we did. This is from DeMorkin. Okay, DeMorkin. So you just put the rain cloud front and center, but it's almost like you added like some rain in here or something. Streaks. Interesting though. I like it though. I like it. The sharpening is a little bit strong, but I like it otherwise. Um, oh, you added film style grain. All right, let me go back and look at that assignment. Was it this one? Yeah. Oh, so you added the grain. Okay, I see. Somehow the colors, though, just don't feel film-like to me. That's the That's why the grain threw me off. I mean, the grain makes sense now. It just, the colors just still aren't film-like. But what do I know? I didn't shoot that much film. So maybe it's perfect. All right, let's see. Wow, look at this. Um, this is interesting, black and white. Nice crop too. This is from DeMorcan. Yeah, I like this one a lot. And it doesn't feel over sharpened like the other one, even though it, yeah, this one you didn't sharpen quite as much, but I like the tones. Everything you did here with the tones. It's really good. Yeah, Luray Caverns, right, Kilowin? um, oh, Garrett, you're here. Wow, I've never seen your edits or anything here before, so welcome to the live edits, if this is your first time. Let's see. This I would expect from Serge, but Serge has already submitted one. But this is a very vintage. This looks like one of the ones you would find inside the visitor center, like old photos of Shenandoah. Let me see, DeMorcan. Okay, DeMorcan. That makes sense. That this was you. Yeah, you added streaks, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I could see them in that other image. But this image, yeah, this looks like one of the images you see inside the visitor center of old photos of Shenandoah. So that's pretty convincing. And this one, this is it's okay. This is a lot like the original. It's very dark and muted. So this is very original, I would say. Dawood, okay, Dawood. This makes sense though. Um, I think sorry, I was just reading the comment section. Uh yeah, this is okay. This is okay, Dawood. I think this definitely feels like it's raining, right? Because when it's raining, this is exactly how it looks. I think he did a good job in that respect. And then 2020, me in 2019 thinking 2020 will be the best year ever. I know, right? Um, better times are definitely ahead, though. Let's see. Hoping 2020 is better than 2021 is better than 2020. All right. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate the message. Okay. And this one is, wow, this is a nice edit. Really dramatic. And you can really see the cloud or the rain coming down over here too. I never noticed that before. I focused on this center thing, but let's see who did this one. This is a nice edit and I like the framing. Yeah, nice job, Hugh. Really nice. And wow, this is this is like a 4:3 crop. It almost looks like a vintage black and white photo, except for the God rays coming out of the sky there. Other than that, I like it. Jerry. Okay, Jerry. Or Jari, I should say. It's not Jerry, it's Jari. I like everything except these God rays you put in here. Yeah, Hugh did a great job, right, Jack? Oh, and that's the last one. All right. Wow, excellent. I'm a little torn between this one and these two here. I like these two edits the best. Um, just very dramatic, either dramatic color or dramatic tones. You know, both of them I think really kind of nail it for me. That's how I would edit it if I would have thought of it. Then the rest of these are very different. I like this one, and that's what DeMorcan, I think, right? Um, oh, Marcel. I'm sorry, Marcel. You know, nice soft colors. All of these are all very interesting in their own way, you know, across the board. So yeah, awesome edits. All right, so let me show you guys a couple of things here. There were some photos that kind of came in last minute, like this castle, this car, this horse. Oh, Matt, I said I would edit this one. All right, let me edit this. I promised Matt I would edit this. But I'm going to have to do the rest of these next time. So I think I downloaded this already. But let me just double check. Yeah, I did. So let me synchronize this one more time. Yep, one more photo. Okay, Matt, if you're still here, let me know. But I'm going to edit yours. Oh, look at this. This is nice. I love these horses. Wow. We just need to crop in a little bit. So let me do that. I just need to crop in. And this is a raw image on a EM10 Mark II with a 14-42. ISO 320. Yeah, really good settings. But wow, this is amazing how you captured this like softness just straight out of camera like this. So let me just crop in. It's almost a shame to crop in because everything in the scene is really pretty. Let me try a 1x1 and just do a simple. Oh, that's too tight. It needs more room. Maybe like that. Like this. And yeah, I think this crop works. And then I'm just going to give it, I'm not sure, because this image can go kind of either way with a little more detail or go a little bit softer. But if I go softer, it almost looks like a painting, right? If I do that. But if I go this way, I think it still looks like a painting almost. This image just does not look real. Let's just do that on the saturation. Yeah, the white balance is perfect. Yeah, I'll have to give some thought about the composition a little bit again. Let's pull off a little bit here. Be a little here and here. And okay, the composition is still off because maybe put the horses up there. We gotta have a way to lead our eye into the frame somewhere. I'm not sure that works either, but it kind of works. What if I go to this corner? Oh, I like that better. All right. So let's go a little wider. And go over on this side. Yeah, that works for me. Now, slight tilt. This way. I know trees don't have to be straight, but there's a pole back there. Like this fence pole or whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but that needs to be straight. Okay. So let's add some brightness. Let's pull in. pull this in. And just a tiny bit warmer. All right, I'm gonna call it there. Some vignette and we're done. We need a little bit more on the highlight side. Okay. All right, we're done. So, I mean, this image could go a lot of different ways. Like I said, I could have gone a lot softer, but I decided to go a little bit crispier. But a soft image, you know, all I have to do is slide this way, right? That looks pretty good too. Actually, I like that better now, so I'm going to go that way. Create a virtual copy here. And reset. And grid. And compare. This one, and this one, compare. All right, so that was definitely worth the wait, I think. Yeah, this is probably my favorite image of the day too, honestly. This is really nice. But the image on the left, there's a little bit too much in the foreground, right? With the grass and these bushes kind of just being prickly in here. So cropping over to the right really balances out nice. And I love this tree here, right here in the foreground. Normally this tree would be a distraction, but it actually is really nice. It gives you some details of the fine snow and crystal going on. And then these two horses sitting together in this nice warm area against all of this cold background just really makes an amazing image, I think. Yeah, good job. Good job, Matt. I'm really impressed with this image. Straight out of camera, it looks really good, but just a little bit of editing to kind of isolate the scene, I think works. 'Cause if I go full screen, there's the original. And then how do I get to the next one? This edit. So there's the final edit. And I think, you know, let me get my head out the way. I think that looks really good. Overall, from the original. So this is a great way to end strong, right? Oops. So everyone, man, I hope the stream is still working. You guys can still see me, but this was a long one today, another marathon stream. I don't think I'm going to do anything on Tuesday, but we'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But thanks again for sending all your images for me to edit. I'm sorry I didn't get to the last few that were submitted. I'll have to do those probably on Thursday. But either way, thanks for coming in. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. And Happy New Year, most of all.